Hi everyone. I'm really excited to be here. This is my first video, and it's a video about MauiReactor, my library that you can use to build applications for .NET MAUI. And I'm really excited because this is my first video, and I'm not really sure that everything is set up correctly. I hope you can see my screen, my desktop, and also you can hear me correctly. And anyway, um, let's start. And in this video, I want to show you how we can build an application with .NET MAUI Reactor. And this application is actually a game that I have built last week. I spent a few days building it, and it's an arithmetic game, a very nice game. And I'll show you what I'm going to create. It's called Digits, and it's a game that is published by the New York Times magazine, and is a game, arithmetic game, very nice. It's easy to play, and also shows a few good animations, nice animations, and also some complex user interactions. How we can play these games? This game is called Digits, as I said, and is a game where you have to combine a few numbers. There is a board of 6 numbers, as you can see here, and you have a target value. In this case, it's 5080, and the game is pretty easy to understand and to play. You have to select a number. After that, you select an operation, in this case, the addition. Then select another number. And the two numbers are combined according to the operation, in this case, the add operation. And you can then combine other numbers, like, for example, this one. And the goal of the game is to get as near as possible to the target value. Um, in this case, for example, we can multiply 6 by 25. And also, this game has some nice feature like the undo. So, for example, if I click here, I can undo my operations. And you can submit your final value when you are near the target value. Um, the Digits game is realized in a web application by the New York Times, and now we are going to build a .NET MAUI application from scratch. And so just let's start, okay? And to start, we are going to create a new project using the MauiReactor template like this. For that, I'm going to put this project inside MauiReactor samples repo. So I can just push it when we finish it. And MauiReactor samples. Okay, we called it digits game. Digits game. Okay, great. Okay. And I want to apologize to everyone if I sometimes I'm not so clear. As you understand, it's not I'm not so fluent in English, and so if something is not clear, please use the chat panel you have on the right in the YouTube page. I'll try to answer your questions. I'll try to explain what's going on. Um, anyway, let's see how it's going. Okay, this is the template just created our project where we can see we have the references to the MauiReactor packages. For the first thing, we have to select the latest version of MauiReactor. This is something that you, I guess, need to do for every project. In this case, we are going to select the last version that is 1.0.129 that is just published. Okay. Okay. Also, we are going to remove some resources that are created by default by the template. For example, we are not going to use styles as XML files, so we can just remove this part. And also, we can remove these files. And under pages we have the main pages, the main page. The main page is the first the root component of our application. If we run this app now, we'll see the classic startup page that we are used to see when we start any .NET MAUI app. Okay, we have the emulator here, and I want to say that for the first time, initially we are going to build the application for Android. We will auto reload it in the Android emulator, but I guess we will have some times to see how it render also in a desktop environment. We will target also Windows, but also iOS. And as you can see here, we have the classic first page. Let's put it on top. Okay. Let's reduce a bit the emulator. Okay, now we are ready. Okay, for now, so I have to first of all start the hot reload model. In this case, I can run an emulator, the hot reload under the emulator, so we can run the usual command in the terminal. Okay. .NET MauiReactor. Okay, the command is this one. Oh, okay. I just typed the trun that is not required in this case. Let's try to cancel the build. Okay. We don't need this one. No, this is not this one. Okay. Oh, okay. This is the command. Okay. We have the .NET MAUI reactor running. and is monitoring our folder. Okay, it's working. Let's start again. So if we run the app now, running the hot reload, okay, it's monitoring our folder. Let's see if it works correctly. We surely don't need the counter. Let's clean up a bit our code. Okay, let's remove everything inside the content page. Let's see if, okay, the page is empty, of course, and we see that the hot reload is working correctly. Okay, let's stop now. Okay, let's see how we can implement our game. Surely we need a game model that describe our game. We have to create some models for the numbers, for the game state, also for the operations. So we can combine the numbers and we can list the operations on the right, like this. Also, if I make an operation that results in an invalid number, it make a nice animation like this. If I try to subtract to 9 the 11 number, it's just say that these operations can be done because as you read in the help, we can if the operation produce fractions or negative numbers, the operation will not accept it. So we have to deal with this thing too. So let's start creating a new folder, models, where we are going to create our models. For example, I guess we need a game model. I really like records for models, and this feature that comes with C# version 9, if I recall correctly. So our game model um, is defined as a record. Okay, the game model surely need a target value. That is the value we have to reach. In this case, is 69. And also we have to create models for all the numbers, for their positions, and for the operations. So in this case, I have to create surely a game operation, a game number position that record the position of a number as a row and a column. Also, I have to create a record number, a game number that is composed surely by a position, quindi game number position. Okay, and also it should have also a value. A game number is important to track each number, so it's better to give a key to each number. I give a key maybe called ID, and I give ID 1 to the first number, to 6 to the last number. So let's add also the property ID. Okay, so a game number has a game number position as a value. The game number position is composed of two property, row and column. So a game model is actually a target value and a list, an array of game numbers. Okay, so a game model is actually composed of a target value, and of an array of numbers. For the moment, for our purpose, for now, I'll create a game model from which we can start to build our application. So I'll create a static game model first game that I can create like a static property. So I'm going to create a game model. For example, in this case, if I want to create exactly the same game model of this screen, I have 58 as a target value. Then I have some. Let me see if I can put this like, okay. Okay. So I have a game number, ID1, new game position is 0, 0, 0 row, 0 column, value 2, and so on. I have to add all the game numbers to our game model. 4, 5, 6. Okay, position 1, 2, row 1, row column 2, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 25. Okay. So I have my first game described by this model. Another thing we need is surely the operation, and so I'm going for this to create. I'm going to create an enum called operation. Surely we have the add, the subtract, divide. Multiply, okay. So we have the operation. Also, I guess we need something to model our operation like this one, because we have to list all the operation on the right in the your operation list. So I call it a record called operation item. Okay, the operation item is really composed of two numbers and an operation. So I can call the game and operation left number, game number right, and operation. Okay, and seems everything is fine so far. Okay, let's move inside the main page. Okay, the main page state and the main page component. The main page component, as you can see, is a component that has a main page as state. Is the root component. So I guess we have to create a lot of children, and in the main page state, I guess we have to put the game model as we have here. So we have the game model is the current game. Okay, and we can put for now the game for the first game. So our initial state is the first game model we have built, and in this case we want to build initially. I will concentrate to the left part where we see the target on the top and the game board on the bottom. And for this, I want to use a canvas view. I guess it's a good solution. A canvas view is nothing nothing special. It's just a component that comes with the MauiReactor canvas package that lets us create easily all these graphics element. So let's see how we can do. I surely need a component that we can call game board. Game board is a component. This game board should be a canvas view. Okay. The canvas view surely should have a background color as white or better transparent. Okay, so if I have to build this page, I surely need maybe a grid or a grid with a row of 100 star for the bottom. Okay. Okay. And let's see how can go. Oh, Copilot is guessing some code. Anyway, I don't need now this. Okay, let's start the app and let's see what happened. Okay, and let's run the hot reload. Okay, it's running. Okay, on the top we need to show the target value. So I guess I can do something like this, target value, and on the bottom I'm going to show the game board. Okay. The game board should be placed on the second row. So I have to select the second row like this. Okay. And as you can see, the target is created on top left. So let's put it on the center. Okay, let's give it a bigger font like this, and color. Okay, we have just the target for now. Okay. Uh, the game board need to visualize our numbers, um, but you need to visualize show these numbers, and so we have to pass to the game board. Surely we need to pass it the list, the current board. So we have to track these boards in the state. Okay, surely we need to list all the operations, of course, but also we have to create a stack of game number. Game boards, boards. Okay, and for the first boards, the first state of the boards, we have to put the initial one, that is the current game. So let's move with on the unmounted. When our component is created, we need to put in the boards uh, the current game numbers, I guess, like this. And to the game board, I'm going to pass the board. Boards pick. We are going to pass to the game board the board on the top of the stack, of course. Okay. Okay, game numbers. Oh, game numbers. Okay. Wait. Okay, we have the game numbers here. Okay, now we have to create these numbers inside our canvas view. So I guess we can create something like this. So game numbers. We need surely a group of objects. Inside of it, we are going to create. We need to create. Okay, for each game number, we need to create an object. Here we are going to put the number. Okay, here we surely need to create another component because I guess we need a component for each number that can track the selection, also can track and can realize the animations and so on. So we surely need a new component that we can call something like a game board number. And this game board number is another component. This should have surely a state. And I guess we need to create an ellipse and something like that with a number inside of it. So um, to show you this part, I have prepared some code so we can speed up a bit our process. And I'm going to take it from the simple project that I built to prepare this video. And I can open this in a Notepad Plus. Okay, let's see the game board number button. Okay, this is okay, and this is the game number button state. Okay. Uh, for now, let's focus just a bit on the render part. The render part is created using some widgets that comes from the canvas package. We have an align, a point direction handler, an align, a group, something like that inside of it. And here we can recognize the text component that will show our number. And also we have the ellipse that is the shape that round our numbers using this stroke dash pattern. And also we have to pass to the game number to this component like this. To make this work, I have also created a game color. In this case, it's just a value of a colors. Okay, this is the class theme that I can create under resources, under style. Please. Um, Here we can track all our brushes. Okay. Let's see if I can track this. Okay. We need also the animation control. Okay, we have the position column. Okay. So we have an ellipse and also a text value. A text component is actually a widget that draw our value, our number value inside our numbers. Okay. Now to render this number button, you have to provide to it a few things like the number itself, of course, and also I have to create like here or state. Okay, render number button. Okay, And for this, I have to create, I created, for now, let's remove the animating button. I want to just show you the initial value. Okay. Great. Okay. Okay. Now here we have we need a couple of more properties for the state of the board that I'm going to put inside the game board state. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we have the game board here. So let's see how we can create the game board. Okay. Okay. Where is the board state? Game numbers. Game numbers are here. Okay, I have to pass also the target number to the game board. Okay, for a moment, for now, I'm going to not render the operations on the bottom. Yeah, this is nothing that we need. Okay, okay. So we have to pass the target value to the game board. Okay, target. Okay. The target is rendered inside the game board in my previous attempt. So we are going to remove from this one like this. So we have just to put something like that. Okay. Let's see what's is not working. Okay. Let's just restart the app. Maybe we made too many changes. Okay. Okay, great. Now we have the game board in place where we show our numbers, the target value on top, all the numbers linked correctly in the game board. If you want to get a look to how I render the game board, Let's close for now these things. Okay. Um, what I draw is essentially an ellipse shape, a text, and I move the button using a margin property. So I just create the button, the graphics of the button, then I move inside the board using a margin where I use the column and the row to low position it the button inside the board state, as you can see. Okay, let's see what we can do now. When a button is clicked, we have to actually select it, and also we have to track that we have selected this number. So when a number is clicked like this, I have to put this thing inside my game board state. So I have to set my current number to the number that is clicked. So if I click set the current number, let's see. Okay, is something that I okay, because I didn't run the hot reload. Okay, now if I click on a button, it's selected and highlighted. But I guess that it's not enough. Now we have to implement the bottom row with all the operations. So I can select one number, then I need to select the operation, then I select the second number, so I create the operation. To do so, I have to create the bottom row of operation, and I have prepared some resources that resemble these symbols. So I found on internet some images, royalty-free images that I can use to create these images and these buttons. For this, I have to put inside my images folder all the images that I have prepared, all of these. Great. One thing to remember in this case is that we have to set these images as embedded images, embedded resources. So like this, I'm going to set embedded resources for all of them. Okay. Okay, all these resources are now ready to be embedded in our Canvas view. And for this, I have prepared a component that can render these images like buttons that I'm going to copy from my source code. Okay, let's see. Okay, the game board operation button. Okay, the game board operation button is a component that we can use to actually pass an operation. An operation is just the num that describe my operation, and I want to pass it a delegate on a click, an action value that is called every time the user tap the operation button. Also, I'm going to pass it if it's selected because the image need to be rendered as green as background when I select it. And this is just a picture that get the image from from the embedded resource, and also everything is wrapped inside an point iteration handler where I am going to use on top to raise our action, our delegate. And also this game board operation need to be integrated in our main board, inside the board with all the numbers. Okay, this is the part. Okay. For now, do not render the undo. So the render operation button, we need to just render this component, passing to it all the properties you need. So, okay. Here we are going to create our component that is just added. So the render operation button is something like that. For now, again, let's remove the animating button that we'll see in a moment. Okay, and also we are going to pass to this component game board operation button a delegate that should be called when the user tap the operation. Okay, and in the operation selected, I have to just set in our state that this operation is selected. And if we run the app now, we should see all the operations on the bottom. Let's wait a bit. Wow, this video is going to take to last a lot more of what I prevented. Anyway, let's see how it's going. Okay, this is the game. I have to render on the bottom, the render operation button. Okay. Seems okay. I have to change the namespace here. Okay, because we have a different namespace, digits game. Let's see if we see now the. Let's see if we see now the. Oh, great! We have the operations, so we can do something like this. Great. Okay, of course, it's still missing all the logics behind the operations, but we are going there. Okay, let's also make create the undo button. The undo button is on the first button that when you click it, we should to pop from the game stack the last operation. To do so, let's open the game undo button code. Okay, this is the game button undo. Okay. Okay, we are going to just, even here, we have to change the namespace, digits game, and also we have to run the undo operation that we should pass to the main page component. So we need to accept all these things. Okay, let's create these variables. Okay, So when the undo button is tapped, is clicked, it just run the undo operation action that is passed from by the parent component. Okay. Now we have just to put in there the logic to create the operations, the operation itself. To do so, we have to put this code inside the number of clicked. Okay. For this to work, we have to add some additionally methods to the operation item class because we have to actually in some way to calculate the value of the operations and the operation item, and also we have to decide if an operation is valid or not. To do so, we can just take the code from my model that I already created. Okay, so we have these two nice functions that I created. Okay, this function actually calculate the value, and this one just say if an operation item is valid or not. And in this case, we can just use this version, because as you saw before, if you make an operation that is invalid like this, we have to run this animation, and also we don't no need to add the operation to the operation list. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to fire the new operation action, and the new operation action is run is raised to the main page component that need to update the operation list and the boards stack. So let's see if we see the operations list. Oh, great. Okay, we have all the numbers that we can select and unselect, of course. Also, we can create the operation like this, but of course still missing the logic behind that put this new operation inside the list of operations of the main page. Let's add these things. Okay, try to run again the dotnet MauiReactor. Okay. Let's put inside our code the logic that serves to create actually the new operation, and to add the new operation onto the stack, and also that realize the logic behind the undo operation. Great. Okay. In this case, I call it board status instead of borders. So for now, let's rename it so we can just skip these syntactic errors. Okay, the game number is created like this. Okay, game value, current value, game model, numbers here and values. Okay, operations. In this case, I used a list, but much better is a game, is a stack. Okay, and also I need to create the first stack. Okay, so this is not required. So when I going to pass the board state to the game board, I have to check that the board state is not empty. And so I have to write something like that. Otherwise, I'm going to pass the current game state values. Okay. Also, I'm going to pass these new functions on new operation created on undo last operation to our game board component, something like that. Okay. Okay. So here something broke up, surely because I have to write something more. Okay. Okay, the board is here. Let's stop a bit this kind. Okay, let's stop here. Okay, at this point I have to run again the application. Okay, let's see if we can run. Great. Okay, as you can see, you can make sum up all the numbers like this. For example, I can also undo our operations. Okay. How these nice animation are done? Actually, the movement of the numbers are realized using an RX animation, and everything is inside the render method of the game-board number button. In this case, as you can see here, the margin of the button is linked to the number position. So if I change the position, the margin, the new margin is created, and automatically the call to the with animation move the state of the component from the previous margin to the new one. So the first animation that move the numbers is realized using an RX animation. When I click a number, as you can see, the number scales a bit. So this animation is realized again with the NRX animation in this way. So when I tap the object, I set is pressed to true, and when is pressed is tap is true, I scale the object a bit, and using a with animation, also in this case using an RX animation, I can actually create this animation when I click the button. So in this case, we are going to use two kinds of RX animation. One to move the margin of the button from one position to another, like this. And the other used when I press the single button, as you can see in this sample. Another kind of animation is required to actually bump a bit the button when an operation is completed. For example, if I click 7 multiply 9, as you can see, 63 is a bumped a bit, so I had to use an animation controller where I created a sequence animation with a double animation starting from 1 as scale 1 to 1.1 as target value, and then back from 1.1 to 1. In this case, when the operation is completed, this animation controller is enabled, and the values starting from 1 to 1.1 and from 1.1 to 1 is set to the scale value of our state, and the scale value is used to scale actually our button. Okay. Uh, One last thing in this case is that we have to add a bit of animation when we make an error. So, for example, if I want to make 2 minus 7 is an invalid operation, it should show an animation that is not shown now because we have to implement it. Something like that. If I go here and I click 2 minus 7, as you can see, these buttons are a bit animated. For doing something like that, I created another component that I called animatic button. And this animatic button component is just a component that creates the animation. And inside it, you can put all all, all buttons, something like that. Okay, this animating button is just a button, is a wrapper for a button that realize the animation using an animation controller. Okay, where the animation controller described like this. So I have just to use this animating button. Inside of it, I can put a child. Then I can just set in error to true to have the animated effect. So let's use it here. So for example, here. And also I'm going to use on the operation button. Okay, like this. Let's move with the auto load. Let's see if we have the effect now. So if I put 2 minus 7, wow! Okay, as you can see, it's working pretty fine. Okay, great. Last thing to add is the operation list. For the operation list, we have just a component that lists in a collection view all the operations, and it's pretty simple to realize and to create. I have created an operation list component that is like this. Of course, you can put all these classes in all in single files. Here I'm going to add it here. Okay. One thing that I used to show one of the feature of MauiReactor in this case is the using of the parameters. Um, because I thought that some kind of states should be forwarded to all the three of components. So for this, I'm going to use the parameter feature, and I'm going to show you how we can do this. Okay, in the main page, we are going to create a couple of button on top that can help us to switch between the game board and the operation list with something like this. Okay, the current view is the view that is currently showing. So the current view is something like a simple enum, like this. So the page view is an enum that give us the state of the view of the page if we are going to show the game board or the operation list. So in this case, we are going to use, we need to create a parameter using a call like this. And we are going to use the current view here. Again, this is nothing that we need. Okay. Target value here. Okay, the line, we need to add MauiReactor shape. Okay. No, state, but how we called it another way, board. Okay. Wow. Okay. Now we can switch between the game board and the operations. Okay, you can see now we have something that not working quite well. Let's see what's going on. Okay, the game board, showing the game board and the operation list. Okay, the game board is something like that. Okay, okay, we have to show the game board only when the view is game board. Okay, so we are going to do something like this. So let's take the main state inside the game board. This is the game board, so I can see something like that. The game state value view game board. Let's see if it's working now. Good. Okay, if I now create, wow, the game board, we have the operation listed here. So if we create another operation like this, we have the new operation added to the list. Okay. Also, if I go back, I have the list of operations updated accordingly. Great. Okay. We have now the basic functionality of the app. We still need something like the detection of the winner, of the valid value. So for example, I can every time I create an operation and I calculate the new value, I can just see if I near enough to the target value, so I can allow the user to submit his value. But instead of this, I wanted to show you another couple of things. Hope you are not sleeping. Anyway, I want to show you how these how these show in a desktop environment application. So, for example, something like that. If I move to Windows machine, let's stop the auto reload. Okay. If I run everything in a Windows desktop app, let's see how this works. Okay, so everything seems working fine even here, and the operation are here. Of course, this is something that we can change. For example, changing the layout of the application here because we have a larger screen. So I want to not create two buttons to select the view, but instead I want to show the game board on the left and the operation list on the right. And for this, I can do in several ways, but for now, I think we can just create a different layout on the main page, given the desktop platform. So to detect the desktop platform, I guess I have to select something like that. Okay. If render on desktop, else return render on mobile. Great. Okay. So this is render on mobile. Okay. Okay, to remove MauiReactor controls here, I have to use a different namespace. Target idiom, device info, device info. Let's see. Device info idiom current. Device info idiom current idiom. Okay, good. Okay, we have to create a different render for the desktop. Okay, on the desktop, so we don't need the buttons on top, but we want to show just the game board, the operation list, game board on the left, operation list on the right. So we need just a row, two columns, and I want to, well, we want to just put one on the left, like this is okay, and this is on the right. Okay. Current view here. Okay, we need to move also the current view here. Okay. Okay, because we need to test. Okay. Let's put this here. No. Okay. Run on mobile. No, no, here. Okay. The operation list component should be shown also if we are on desktop. Okay. As you can see, everything seems working pretty fine. Okay. Last thing, really, the last thing I want to show you is how we can create a test for this complex application. And I am going to show you how we can create a test for our components. So let's create a test project, digits, game dot tests. Let's see if someone is asking. Canvas view is drawn. Canvas view is drawn. Using the graphics view. So Skia. Okay. And okay, I want to show you this test because it's really interesting. I created a test here, and to create this test, I have to set up the test and create it. I'll show you for a moment. We are really late now, so I'm going to show you how we can create a test for our application. Something like this. You'll find the code in the repository. Anyway, I'll show you how you can do it. Okay, in this test, I created a main page component hosted in a template host. Then I found the first number, found the operation button, then I found the second number, and first I check that the operation list is empty. Then I tap the first number button, then I tap the operation button, then I tap the second number button. Finally, I'm going to test that the list of the operations are correct. So I want to say thank you to everyone that is watching this video. Even if you are going to fast forward or go back, go faster, and so on. I hope you really enjoyed it, and thank you very much. And we'll see hopefully in another video next time.